do you think we have made progress with technology, especially with geoengineering, or we are not on the track?
Well, so first of all, my book about geoengineering was like 15 years ahead of its time.
Yeah.
If everybody who's watching this, buys a copy of the book, that would like triple the sales total. I mean, it did not, people did not care about geoengineering when I wrote that book 15 years ago, but it is now becoming more and more central in our conversations. And the issue is not really the science or the technology, really. The issues are political and moral.
Mm.
The basic idea, for people who don't know, there's all different aspects of it, but the one that is most central to conversation right now is creating what amounts to artificial volcanoes. We know that when a big volcano like Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines erupted in, I think it was 92, 91, it cooled the Earth's climate by about a degree for a year until the little sulfate particles rained out. And so the idea is maybe to use a fleet of high altitude aircraft to put tiny sulfate particles high in the stratosphere. They would act as little mirrors, basically reflecting away just 1 or 2% of the sunlight, which would have a measurable effect and have a kind of global cooling on the planet. It's a very dangerous idea. It is an idea that has all kinds of political and environmental consequences. One of the simplest ways to think about it is like whose hand would be on the thermostat? Who would decide how much, cooling to undertake? Another big problem is that once you start doing it, you have to keep doing it because these particles rain out of the sky. So you have to more or less continually do this. Has potential to shift monsoon patterns around, which would have a big impact on agriculture, food production. There's just a whole bunch of, moral and political complexities to this. That's what's really held it back, for better or worse. I personally think that the science should be investigated more. I'm okay with sort of small scale experiments. We haven't even really done that yet, but just to get a better understanding of how these particles distribute and things like that. A lot of people see that as a slippery slope to deployment. I don't feel that way. I feel like, w with the right conditions, small scale experiments to learn better how this works. Because I do think, sadly, but honestly, that it's inevitable that we'll do something like this. And so the more we know about it, the more we understand it, the better.